so great to be here. Mary McHale. In my day job, I am head of strategic accounts for a company called Equinix here in Hong Kong. Really excited to be here today as a past winner of last year's Women of Influence Champion of Women Award that I shared with one of my favorite sheroes, Felicity McRobb, and I also presently sit as a member of the Board of Governors for the American Chamber of Hong Kong. Big fan of the Women of Influence and super excited about this year's conference. It's actually had a huge impact on me, much bigger than I thought it would, because what it did is it kind of elevated for me the importance of what this conference is. So previously I'd been part of the steerco and chairing and planning and running and organizing this conference, but really as one of this year's winners, there's something that switched, and that switch was it's an opportunity for all of the people that are driving change, for the people that are making things happen, for people that are mentoring other women, for our male allies that are supporting women, for the companies that are getting behind their stats and really elevating the number of women in both their leadership positions and the women on boards. I think it's an amazing opportunity and such an incredible event to celebrate the hard work and the accomplishments of women and men and companies in Hong Kong. It means a lot of things, but most of all, it just means helping women become the best versions of themselves. And how do we all do that? Well, we do that by a number of ways. The first and foremost is supporting each other. So women need to support each other. How do you do that? Well, if somebody gives a good idea during a meeting or open conversation, double down on that idea. If on the other hand, somebody's too shy and doesn't speak up on a regular basis, ask them what their thoughts are. Ask them to contribute to the conversation. More than anything though, just reach out, say something nice to somebody every day, communicate with women, and encourage them to take that next step forward. So I think what motivates me every single day is that there's still disparity. There's still disparity and gaps on a number of different levels, but until I see equal representation of women at all levels, I'm going to continue to fight the fight and be a champion for the cause and absolutely help elevate the women around me, help elevate the women above me, and also do everything that I can do to become the best version of myself. I think, again, it's just having people that believe in me and believing in me sometimes when I don't believe in myself. So having that board of directors that sits behind you, kind of championing you and elevating you and encouraging you and motivating you along the way. I would have to put my mom and dad and my brothers all in that category. And then I think, organizations like AmCham Women of Influence, like TWF, like the 30% Club, all of those organizations do such a tremendous job of helping us, get engaged, develop and form a community around us that elevates ourselves. I think there's a lot that can be said about just kind of setting quotas, setting targets, and depending upon what side of the fence you sit on, the thing that cannot be disputed is that having equal representation of men and women in every conversation makes it a better conversation. So I think, for companies, it's considering, do you have the right makeup of women, representation of women on your board? Do you have the right number of women representatives in your senior levels of leadership, in your middle levels of leadership? When you're hiring for new positions, are you interviewing as many women as you are men? Are you treating everybody with an equal responsibility or an equal opportunity, rather, to kind of show up and contribute their best selves? The first one is, in truth, there's still a huge wage gap for men and women. So statistics say there's 30% wage gap, meaning that for every dollar that a man makes, a woman makes 70 cents. That's got to be closed. The second thing is women in leadership. Across Hong Kong specifically, while women make up 40% of the workforce, they actually hold fewer than 17% of executive leadership positions in all of the Hong Kong listed companies. Where else does that show up? It shows up at women on boards. Hong Kong is woefully behind having female representation on boards. And despite the efforts of organizations like Women of Influence, like the Women's Foundation, 30% Club, we're not there yet. And in fact, we're going backwards. In 2008, women represented 13.8% of all board members. Sadly, last year, we're down to 13%. And we can do better than this. We can do more. There are plenty of qualified women out there. All you have to do is ask. I've been here for 14 years. I've seen a huge change in women, particularly Hong Kong women feeling more empowered and taking emboldened steps of leadership. I'd like to especially call out the banks of Citi, HSBC, and Standard Chartered, each of which have placed female CEOs at their lead in Hong Kong. Bravo, that's great change. Would I call that significant? I would call it change. I think there's room to do more. I think the biggest opportunity is if everybody did just one thing for one of the women in their lives each day, would be in a lot better place. So if you're a husband, tell your wife how much you appreciate what she does at home and also in her job. If you're a colleague, tell your colleague they can do anything they set their mind to, show them the confidence, invite someone to speak up. There's a million ways that we can lift each other up, but at the end of it, it's all about women believing that they can be their best selves, put their best foot forward, and be the change that we want to see. This year's conference is a 20th year anniversary, so sure to be super exciting. And it's going to coincide with a holiday that we should all celebrate more, which is International Women's Day. So I'm looking forward to attending, and I can't wait to see many old faces and some new faces there as well.